I'm Professor Seth Frey, and we're going to start with part 1 of our OpenAI demo, getting into chat completion, text completion in chat. So OpenAI is the most popular of the current AI tools as of now, most famous as the developers of ChatGPT, which we're going to play with. AI is rapidly transforming schoolwork. And a lot of other things. The ability to interact with it in code really levels you up very quickly. It's also a tremendous amount of fun. So we're going to focus in this demo on completion and chat. Among other things, we're going to throw in a homework question that I give in this course and ask for support, and you'll see how impressive these tools are when it comes to their knowledge of Python. So I'm just going to run. Now boilerplate, you're familiar, you just run it. Don't understand it, just run it. This is going to take a while. We're actually installing a lot of stuff right now. But eventually we're going to see our little button there. Presumably you've already been through the process of getting API keys and registering and all that. So when all this runs, if I scroll up, you'll just see a lot of stuff being done. We get error messages, we get dependencies. What that tells you is this is all going, we get a lot of warnings when you run stuff. That tells you AI is moving very fast, which means the code underneath things changes very fast, which means I can install something one week and I'll be getting errors that it's out of date the next week. It's just sort of the times we're in. Now I'll hit upload and have access to my credentials. All right. So with this, we've now created our connection to OpenAI using your own keys, and we'll be able to move forward. So I just want to start with knock-knock jokes. How good is it at completing jokes? So knock-knock, who's there, blank, blank who is just a classic template. It's actually hard to provide this if you go on OpenAI, chat.openai.com, and you play with the chatbots. It's hard to have these placeholders, but in code it's pretty natural to do these placeholders. So we're going to give it boo, knock knock, who's there, boo, boo hoo. I'm so sorry. This is a sort of traditional joke. Let's see if we get that. So I'm just running a bunch of stuff. Did not run this. Excuse me. You always run all the code above a given piece of code. I forgot to run one thing. And what do we get? Knock knock, who's there? Boo boo hoo. And the punchline is don't cry, it's just a joke. And here we can go up. We can comment that back out and comment something else in Amish. Just running stuff. Run until you get the punchline. I miss you. It didn't really get it. It's supposed to be, I miss you so much. Very sweet. I was curious what happens if you just put something that means nothing. I put Benjamin Franklin. And you can just try to make sense of stuff. Knock knock, who's there? Benjamin Franklin who? Benjamin Franklin you for opening the door. I tried to turn it into a joke. All right, now you can see there's lots of punchlines, and it's conceivable that I would want to ask lots at once. Every time I run this, it costs a little bit of money, whereas if you can batch your calls, bundle them into one big package and ask all of them at once, it's a lot cheaper. It's worth knowing how to do that as you become more experienced or start using this in a work setting or with a bank account of your own. So I give you sample code under batching calls for doing it all. So we're creating a list of all the prompts at once, and then we just feed them all right here as prompt. Instead of feeding one text, prompt equals some string, we're saying prompt equals some list of strings, and that's how we get to batch calls, and it'll just go through them one by one. Don't cry, it's just a joke. Orange who? Orange, you glad I didn't say banana. Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you like to hear another joke? Amish who? I miss you a Merry Christmas. Interrupting sheep who? Moo. Chicken who? The chicken who crossed the road. Again, it didn't actually make sense, and so on. And then once again, Ben Franklin goes in a different direction, not trying to make it a joke, trying to inform us. All right. So now we get the question, well, it's called artificial intelligence. How smart is it? My training as a cognitive scientist really focused on pattern matching as the sort of core of human intelligence. And as the core of creativity, the ability to sort of detect and expand and play with abstract patterns of thought. And nowhere is that better illustrated than in analogies. So we're asking a bunch of straightforward analogies. 8 is to 16 as 1 is to, should be 2, right? So we're just going to ask it a bunch. Finger is to hand as toe is to blank. Yesterday is today as today is to what? We're just going to ask it a bunch of these basics. I want you to pay attention to, well, this is always funny. Apple is to Android as Mercedes is to blank. This is a kind of social intelligence. You see, there's just a lot of dimensions of intelligence we can kind of cram into the analogy frame and really succinctly kind of estimate the intelligence of the bot. I want you to focus really on this last one. If AAA is to AAB, then what BBA is to blank. So what would you answer? Would you say BBB? It's not the worst answer. Would you say AAB? It's on the table. So it's a fair question for a human. It's interesting to see how the bots will handle it. So we just run our code. Max tokens 3 ensures I get really short answers, basically. If you want a long answer, you set max tokens high. All right. What do we get? 8 is to 16 is 1 is to 2. Got it. 8 is to 16 is 3 is to 6. Very nice. 8 is to 16 is 16 is to 32. Good. Oh, by the way, it doesn't always get these. And you want to pay attention. You thought you got a number back. In this case, we got 6 period. So we actually got a string back. You have to pay attention to what you're getting back. Instead of the number 2, we got 2, enter, the. Instead of 32, we got 32, enter, as. There's some noise. There's a little bit of cleaning you have to do to get the cleanest answers. But it's getting it. 32 is 16 is 16 is to 8. 16 is to 8 is 8 is to 4. Okay, now it gets interesting. I gave it a tough one. 16 is to 8 is 3 is 2. It should be 1.5, but we don't get that. I've gotten 2 in the past. I've gotten 1 in the past. Here we're getting 4. It doesn't know what to do. Finger is to hand is toast to foot. Very good. Yesterday is today is tomorrow. I'm happy with that. Vegas is to LA as Reno is to Sacramento. Not bad. Reno's the capital, I think. I hope so. Should we look it up? Apple is to Android as Mercedes is to 1970s. So what's going on here is it wanted to give us a longer answer, but max tokens forced it to truncate at 3. And so it was about to tell us something hilarious, like 1970s Saab. I'm just making that up, but it stopped short. Thank you is to you're welcome, as I'm sorry is to it's okay. It kind of got cut off. Maybe I should set max tokens higher. We can try it out. Let's try it. 5. I'll just rerun the whole thing. And AAA is to AAB as BBA is to BAB. That's not very human-like. I don't think so, personally. Wow, that's harsh. That's pretty harsh. Apple's to Android as Mercedes is to a bicycle. That's low. That's low GPT. Do we get anything else? Apology accepted. Oh, good. So we are getting the social knowledge. It tried BAB again. Meh. But yeah, everything else. And here, look. 16 is to 8 is 3 is to 1. So again, it gave us that wrong answer. But boom, 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 boom. It got the others right. Well, a little bit. So there's a bunch of cruft, you would say, after the correct answer. All right, so that's all completion, which is what we'll call GPT. Then there's Chat GPT, which is building out of the basic text completion into real conversations. What's the difference between completion and a conversation? Memory, and I'm not kidding. Look, memory. There's a variable called memory. We're going to define it with a bunch of code that you don't have to understand, and then we're going to plug memory in as an argument to the chain we're building, which will be our chatbot. Now, we're defining a personality in text. You are a bot that responds to descriptions of social situations with pseudocode descriptions of those situations. If you change that, leave this be. So that's what we define. And then this code kind of sets up that personality as a chain that we'll be able to interact with. So, here we go. This is my input now. That was the prompt, and you can create your own personality, say whatever. And then you add the queries here, and this is where it turns into a conversation. So, it happens to the best of us. Sometimes I'm at a door. I can't tell if I'm supposed to push it or pull it. What do? Give me the code. Input. I'm standing at a door, not sure what I should do. Output. If door handle is on the same side as me, print pull the door handle to open the door. Else push the door to open it. That is some real world knowledge. Is that right? No, I mean there's door handles for pushing too. But it's I'm impressed. You notice this isn't Python because I didn't ask it for Python. I asked for pseudocode, which is just like a non-code code, and it's good. I mean, you could translate this with very little trouble to Python. So let's see. Someone ate my ice cream from the freezer, even though it was clearly labeled. How do I figure out who? If ice cream label equals clearly labeled, sure. It's just restating my question a little bit. If ice cream freezer equals empty, print someone ate your ice cream, else your ice cream is still in the freezer, else your ice cream was not labeled clearly. You cannot determine who ate it. It's not super logical, but it's something. Nice weather. I'm just giving it a non sequitur. This is actually just a prompt from another bad personality I created. And so, yeah, we can just run through. It's fun to play with. The grocery list is pretty complicated. And we can define lots of other personalities. You are a world-famous detective, but you're incapable of normal conversation. Make everything about you. You are a prominent therapist known for suggesting recipes for your patients' ailments. You're a civil engineer who is expert in large-scale concrete construction of dams, skyscrapers, etc. You're also into juvenile insults like, I'm rubber and you're glue. Everything you say bounces off of me and sticks to you. These are all options. Let's play. I want some recipes, so we'll play with that. You're a prominent therapist, and then, nice weather. Yes, it is a beautiful day. I always recommend spending time outside to my patients who are feeling stressed. Fresh air, sunshine. Speaking of recipes, have you tried incorporating more fruits and vegetables? Sure. You get it. You've played with these bots before. And these conversations just go different every time. So I recommend just sort of playing around. You just take all this and then delete it and replace it with I've been feeling sluggish. What do you recommend? I would recommend more fruits and vegetables. Thanks for the fruits and vegetables. Okay, it's a lot of food advice. You get it. That's what we asked for. Okay, so now the good part. I get a lot of, so we've learned about lists and extend and append and the subtle differences between them. So this is an actual question that I've actually assigned in homework that I actually get questions on every term. This is one of the tougher ones. By which I mean it's one of the ones that once you understand it, you understand code. So it's important to understand the why of these answers. What we're going to do is we're feeding in. Here's the offer. Here's the text of the question. Here are the multiple choice answers. I pasted in there. And then we just run a bunch of code. Here's our role that we're assigning. Here's a bunch of other stuff, and then this is where we'll plug the question in. So it's going to have all this as context. We're running all this code to set up this chain. Now, we're asking, what's the right answer to that code in the homework? It's thinking. The correct answer is option 3. Well, that's interesting. This is because, the and why is important. This is interesting. It's actually more likely to give the correct answer, 3, if you make it tell you why. I often find that I have to talk through things in order to think through them properly, and we're encouraging it to do that, and that helps it. So it actually has a great analysis here. We didn't have to ask it why the other ones are incorrect. In this case, sometimes you do. That's why we do. In answer 3, why? So in the correct answer, why are the last 2 entries in the list also lists? You might have noticed that. This is a little ugly of a list. The last 2 elements are also lists. What about this code up here did that? Well, we appended the list instead of extend. And if you didn't understand me like making that face or like why is that so obvious, well, ask the bot. Literally ask the bot right now. Ask the bot. The last 2 entries in the list are also lists because the append method adds the elements as a single element in the list. So the list is the thing that gets added to the list rather than its elements, whereas extend puts the elements of the input list into the list rather than the list itself. These are subtle things that you just have to get your head around, and the bot can help you. It's also really good at saying why, and I highly recommend this. To prepare for exams, to understand these homeworks, it's important not just to know the right answer, not just know why the answer is the right answer, also know why the other ones are wrong. So pay attention to yourself when you get things wrong to understand not just why the right answer was right, but why the one you thought was right was wrong. There's a lot of good stuff in there, and so we can explain. Please explain why 4, one of the wrong answers, is not the right answer, despite some property, and we get a detailed answer. So congratulations, you have really good homework help. I still hope you'll ask me for help, to reach out to your instructors for help. But it's nice to have this new tool in your toolkit. Honestly, the chatbots, these personalities and stuff, I could take it or leave it. I don't get a lot out of chatting with personalities, but it knows code so much better than it knows anything else. So it's a profound programming assistant. And one major reason to learn the code is that you get better at asking it. It becomes better at helping you with code the more code you know. That's really true. The people I've seen who use, and this will include you, the people I've seen who don't know Python and go to the chatbots to help them with Python, they end up with answers that are more wrong than I've ever seen in my life. And even when they get the right answer, it's like the goofiest code I've ever seen. But people who are proficient programmers who have put on the time on their own to learn do amazing things with the bot. I've really been blown away personally. So anyhow, this is just a small fraction of the OpenAI functionality. There's actually another demo that gets into a lot of the rest of what it can do. But hopefully you're already having ideas of how you can transform your life and play and learn and explore and build neat things using this sample code, using these tools, and playing freely with these sort of templates we're providing. So I hope you have a lot of fun. Thanks so much.